Welcome to Running on Reddit, r/Tales from Retail, where the craziest customers, managers, and owners make a scene. I work at a large retail chain, where most of our stock, that has been unboxed and unwrapped, that is ready to go on the floor, gets placed into overhead bins above the racks and inside the walls, usually covered and disguised by posters. This is so when stock runs low, we can very quickly replenish it. I hate heights, but as a result, a huge part of my job is climbing up ladders to replenish stock. Last week we were out of stock of item, and it just happened to be on the highest shelf of the excess stock, so I had to use the tallest ladder, which is about 2 meters, or 6.5 foot. Basically, the height of an impressively tall man from lowest to highest usable step. Again, I really do not like heights. I understand to a lot of people, this may not seem very high, but I'm always extremely stressed doing this, and my biggest fear has always been, since I started this position, some dumb Karen coming over and knocking me over. Last week, my head inside the shelf, standing on top of the ladder, I feel someone at the bottom pushing and pulling. I instantly pull my head out of the shelf, clutching the item, and grasp onto the handle at the top of the ladder. I can literally hear my heart beating inside my head. I look down, gasping for air, and it's some dumb young woman, about 23 to 24, smiling up at me, completely oblivious to how messed up of a thing that is to do to someone. Hehe, just checking it's sturdy, nice work. I was really shocked, because to see someone around my age being such a Karen threw me off, but it was the fact she was so oblivious to why shaking a 2-meter ladder someone was standing on wasn't okay. In my nightmare situation it was always a Karen at the bottom, going yoo-hoo, what do I need to do to get some assistance in here? Or something along those lines. After she stopped shaking, she walked away and I, slowly, climbed down. I turned my back to quickly replenish the stock I'd pulled. It only takes 10 seconds and I'd already gone to all that trouble, and when I went to walk around to find my manager I couldn't find one, nor could I see the woman. I told a coworker I needed a bathroom break, but I really just needed to calm down. And when I came back the woman had definitely left the store, and I kinda just let it slide I guess. I don't really have a super comfortable relationship with supervisors or managers at my place, so I figured, if I see her again I'll have a polite but firm conversation, but I probably won't. Sometimes I just don't understand what's wrong with people. Edit, I think a lot of you are really right, I should have had a spotter. I think it's just one of those things where everyone in my workplace is so chill with it and treats it like it's so normal I never even really thought about it enough. I don't live in the US, so I can't contact OSHA. I think the course of action I'm most comfortable with is just not replenishing overhead unless someone is in the aisle with me, and if it gets brought up I'll do as you said about refusing a task if it's dangerous. I feel silly now, because I feel like in my workplace they wouldn't even bring it up, let alone notice, and I shouldn't have been putting myself at risk this whole time. Also as far as retail goes, I actually quite like this job, and otherwise it really suits me. It sucks in situations like this, when no manager is around, but on the other hand I can kinda just mess around for a lot of my shift, and talk to my work buddy. Small step ladders are scary enough, but 2 meters tall? Count me out. Okay, so this happened just yesterday. Was too tired to write it up when I got home last night. It happened very fast, and he was mumbling somewhat, so I'll have to paraphrase slightly. Cast, me equals take a guess, I see equals irate customer. I'd only just started my shift when a man gets far closer to me than I'd like, even without social distancing, and asks if I'm the manager of the shop. I explained that, while I wasn't the overall manager, I was the shift manager, and asked if there was anything I could help him with. He tells me that he bought 4 bottles of wine from the shop during the weekend, but the first 3 had been corked and undrinkable. He'd called up our customer service line, and they told him to bring them back for a replacement or refund. Me, would you like them replaced or refunded? Irate customer, I'd like them refunded please. So I asked him to follow me over to the tills, so I can put through his refund. He produced a single unopened bottle from the bag he was holding, and handed it over. Me, I'm sorry, but I can only issue refunds on the bottles you return. Do you have the others? Irate customer, I was told I'd get a full refund. Me, yes, but I'm not authorized to issue a refund on an item that's not actually being returned. Even an empty bottle would do. Irate customer, who am I? Me, I don't know who you are, sir. Irate customer, who am I? Me, I don't understand what you are asking. Irate customer, do I look like an idiot? Me, no, sir. Irate customer, then stop trying to treat me like one. I was told I would get a full refund. Me, and I can refund this bottle. I held up the one on the counter, but I'm not authorized to issue refunds on items that have not been returned. If you could come back tomorrow morning, the manager might be able to help you. No, she'd say exactly the same thing. But I honestly just wanted to get rid of him at this point. Irate customer, I was told I'd get a full refund. Me, and as I've explained, I can't issue a refund for an item that hasn't been returned. Irate customer, don't you get angry with me. Me, lowering voice slightly, I'm sorry if that's how I sound, but I'm just trying to explain that. Irate customer, what's your name? I'm going to call and complain. I took a piece of spare paper and carefully wrote out my name and handed it to him. He looked at it. Irate customer, who am I? At this point, I was starting to wonder if he was actually asking what his name was and if he'd expected me to write it down so he wouldn't forget. Me, you're a customer. Irate customer, do I look like an idiot? I had to stop myself from saying yes at this point. Me, no, sir. Would you like a refund on this bottle? He just grabbed the bottle and stormed out, glaring at me as he went. I wrote the incident up in the shop diary, just in case he did come back. Later that evening, the manager called on an unrelated issue, and I took the opportunity to warn her in case she didn't see the diary. She agreed that I'd done the right thing, saying that customer services would have called or emailed the shop in advance if he had actually contacted them. We agreed that he probably was just trying to get some money out of us by threatening to cause trouble. She also agreed that I'm not known for losing my cool when dealing with problem customers, so even if he did complain, she'd have my back. All in all, just another fun day in the world of retail. Irate customer, am I an idiot? Everyone listening to the story, yes. I work in the fabrics and crafts department of a large retail chain. Yesterday I had a customer come in, and she dropped about 5 bolts of fabric on my table. Half yard for each bolt. Okay, sure, fine. Throughout my cutting, she kept adding more and more bolts totaling to about 20 bolts maybe. Either way, she had enough fabric totaling somewhere around $40. When she saw the price tag, she just sorta scrunched her nose and began taking cuts out of the bundle I'd made for her. She did it with such a finesse that I'm almost certain now that she's done this before. New price tag, $10. She had me take off at least 9 cuts from her bundle, though I didn't really count. Now, store policy states that any cuts that are less than a yard, they're to be remnanted and discounted. I only got around to doing this to one of the pieces before I got pulled to do something else. Several hours later, I come back to my table and there she is, digging furiously through the basket of remnants, the one cut I was able to discount clutched in her grubby hands. She notices me standing there and whirls on me. Do you have any more remnants? Me, no, sorry, that's all of them there. Lady, are you sure? I thought I saw some others a little bit ago. Me, yeah, I'm sure. I cleared out my remnant box about an hour ago. At this point I pulled an empty box from under my table. It wasn't the remnant box, but it did its trick. Her eyes widened in stark realization that she must have been too late for her cheap fabric. She shuffled off, and that was that. This morning she returned. All those cuts she left behind she got again, half a yard each. She didn't know that those cuts she made yesterday were still sitting under my table, waiting to be remnanted. And they won't be until tomorrow. Oh, retail. That is so dishonest of the customer. I'm glad OP duped the grubby fabric rat. If you like the content and want to support the channel, like and subscribe right now, or you'll be running on fumes. I work in a fashion store at the mall that also sells a few housewares. This happened last week, I think around my 3rd day on till, as I'm relatively new. A young girl comes in buying a couple things, a shirt and a water bottle, the kind that looks like a cup with a straw but reusable. Just looked up and they're called tumblers lol. We have a store app like a membership card. I don't promote it to every customer, but I decide to do it with her for some reason. Me, you can get 20% off if you download it now. Huh, I already have it. Me, oh, then would you like to bring it up on your phone? You can get 10% off. I assumed she already used it once, and the 20% is only the first purchase. She brings it up, but the code I have to enter is not showing up, which I'd never seen before. Me, I'm not quite sure why it's not showing up. Huh, oh, I don't have Wi-Fi. Me, oh, that's alright then. I tell her the total, and she digs through her wallet for cash, then tells me she won't get the tumbler. I say alright, and put it on the back counter. A few customers later, she comes back with the tumbler again. She counts out cash and a bunch of change, and I help her count it out, but she's short by a few dollars. Huh, I'll come back. Me, no problem. I put the tumbler on the back counter. A few customers later, she's back with the same tumbler again, and we go through the counting out change again, but she's still about 65 cents short. This whole time she kept calm and didn't show any sign of being upset. Me, if you go find Wi-Fi, you could load up the app and get 10% off. Then you'd have enough. Huh, how much would it be with the 10% off? Me, applies the discount to check it'd be $13, so you'd have enough. Huh, okay. She leaves. I put the tumbler on the back counter, and a while later, she comes back with another. The app works, and she actually hasn't used it before, so she gets the 20% off, and the total ends up being $11 something. 3 tumblers on the back counter, and the 4th hers to keep. That story ended well. Persistence is key. Let me know in the comments below if you prefer tumblers over water bottles. I work in a phone repair shop in South Florida. We see the worst. One thing we often have is people with the need to reset or restore their phone. I typically deny this service primarily for the reason I'm about to tell you, but I'd like you to understand how it's comical in a way. People that come through this door for whatever reason have a lower IQ than the rest. So when I tell people that a reset on their phone means that it deletes everything they can't grasp or understand what that means, I go far into detail like this verbatim. Me, the restore erases everything on your phone. Pictures, messages, mail, contacts, apps, and everything will be gone. It will be as if you never owned this phone. A brand new phone as far as software is concerned. Everything of yours will be gone. That message has grown over the last 5 years because people just don't get it. So for a long while I had stopped offering to restore people's phones. I just got into the rhythm of saying our computer doesn't have iTunes and we aren't authorized. It was a win for me, to be honest. I don't like this job as far as the customers go and the repairs. Perhaps a bad point of view, but it's made me grow cold and numb. So saying no to someone isn't difficult, especially if I know the other outcome can possibly be an issue. So keep this in mind going forward. One day this mid-aged lady comes in and AT&T sent her because of an issue and needed the phone reset. I had already started saying no, but my boss was like, nah man, let's just do it for her because AT&T sent her and whatever. I asked him if he's sure because she was already being a little rude when she came in and I got a not so bright vibe from her. So he tells me to do it and I'm like, you're the boss. I gave her the entire spill front and back. I reset the phone and immediately she is lost on why everything is gone. I remember looking at my boss with a stare that said, you see why bro? She's then trying to log into her emails and this is when she is screaming that her email is signed out. She's going on like this, OMG, why the flip did AT&T send me here? You deleted my emails. I start saying, ma'am, I told you this would happen when it's reset. She goes on saying, I never said anything. I said, yes ma'am I did. She's like, no you didn't. I go, okay cool, we have security cameras. So I pulled out my phone and went into our app and went right to where we had the convo, and she then starts reverting and saying that it was unprofessional, that I used the video as proof, that I should have just went by what she said because customers are always right. So now the entire company doesn't do restores. OP knows what's up. They probably have some added satisfaction that the whole company no longer offers that service. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe and turn on the bell or you'll be running on fumes. See you in the next video.